There are times that I'll be like, man, we've just been so serious. We haven't been playful. We haven't just played. We haven't pushed each other in the pool or, when it's, an 80 in February was
I've never found an appropriate time to push you into a pool, though.
No, but I can push you into the pool and it's totally okay. And you would laugh and it would be funny.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Sittin in a Tree podcast, where we're helping you build a fun and fulfilling marriage, sharing our stories, and giving out advice to move your marriage forward. Now, here's today's show. Here we go.
Hey guys, I'm John.
And I'm Shalon.
And this is Sittin in a Tree podcast, the podcast where we help you have a fun and fulfilling marriage. It's still February.
It is.
It's our last podcast in February, and we're going to be talking about love again. What are we talking about today, Shalon?
We're going to talk about love, laughter, fun, those things that we don't think about in marriage a lot of times, about having fun and laughing. And since I'm the fun one in our relationship,
very much so.
I thought it would be really important that I kind of started it out and talk about how important it is to laugh and be playful and enjoy the marriage, the fun part of fun and fulfilling marriage. Laughter is a huge part of that. And we don't think as adults, a lot of times we grow up and we get really serious. We get super serious about things and we just go about our day and we think about all the bills and taking care of our kids and we don't take time to laugh.
Right.
And so it's important that we take time to laugh as a couple. When we do that, we really increase our bond as a couple. We increase our connection, our vulnerability with each other. And so it's about finding times to laugh. And whether that's creating inside jokes with each other or moments of laughter, it's really taking that time to say, where can we find laughter within our relationship, within moments of time? And we talk a lot about finding those moments in our relationship, just in general when we've talked in here, but really purposefully finding time to laugh, to find those jokes, to create those jokes, to even laugh when things happen. And really celebrate those moments and laugh.
What if you're not a real laughy couple? I don't know if laughy is a word, but people have different personalities and people come from different maybe backgrounds. People were raised differently. They just develop different personalities. Some people seem to laugh a lot anyway. Some people, maybe are a more serious type. How important is laughter across the board, just even for those who are serious?
It's important. You really need to take that time and find the joy and laughter in life and make time to find that. Like I started with the joke that I'm the fun one here. I'm the serious one in our relationship. I laugh and have way more fun than I ever would have thought. And we definitely make time to find moments that make us laugh. You are the fun one and the funny one. And you give us the joy when we need laughter, especially when things get a little too serious. Now, it's not about joking everything off and not saying, hey, we need to be serious right now. But there are times you have to take that moment to get the stress relief, to reduce the tension and say, we need to laugh for a minute and we need to laugh together. And so you have definitely brought that to the relationship, but also helped me find the importance of that. And so, yes, I am the more serious one, but you have definitely shown me the importance of it. And then through my training as a mental health professional and stuff like that, I know the importance of it. And so you may find that you may not laugh as much as some of the other couples that are a little more fun by nature and how they're raised and personality, but it is important to find that laughter and find that balance for each other. And it is going to have those times of communication where, hey, okay, I really do need you to be serious right now. We can't laugh. But then other times the other person say, hey, we need to let's go to a comedy show. Let's watch something funny on TV. It is time to crack a joke. I mean, maybe you don't say that, but you do realize we need to have that moment of levity and to really joke. And that's where finding those inside jokes that you guys have that, you can make a funny face or have that inside joke and share is so important.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a reason people say laughter is a good medicine.
Right.
It really does lighten up the mood a lot of times, but it's also, besides that, besides just as a stress reliever or anything like that, when you take the time to laugh, it actually has physical effects on your body. There's all sorts of levels inside of you that change if you can just bring yourself to a place of laughter. And so it is a learning process. There are times I have a tendency to use laughter to deal with everything. So even dark things and bad things, I have the ability to go into really dark humor, which is scary for some people. But it's not me being disrespectful. It's just me dealing with those things. I think that that's one thing that's important about laughter, especially, is that learning how your partner uses that and learning when it's good for them and when it's not. 30 years into this, I know when I can make you laugh and when it'll work. And I know when probably now is not the best time to joke around. Like, I know those times. There's a difference between the times that you need to laugh and the times that you need a hug, or that you need to cry. 9 times out of 10, I've found out that if we'll do the hug and cry, that normally ends with a joke. That normally ends with laughter, but you just have to go through the process. But it always seems like that laughter kind of brings us back into that, for lack of better words, happy place, that spot where everything may not be good now, but we know everything's going to be okay. Like everything is going to work out. We'll make it through. Most times, looking back in our relationship, that laughter is involved in that. It's a really good way to get that relief from the stress that you're feeling right then. You're not necessarily pushing it down or covering it up. You're just dealing with it in that way.
Right. And you're really reconnecting too. That's really a source of connection. Even when things are hard, you're stressed, you're reducing that stress, and then you're reconnecting too. You're touching base again with each other, and you're saying, hey, like, this is hard right now, but we're reconnecting and saying, okay, we're together on this. We're bringing the joy back, and we're taking the next step to whatever's happening in this moment. And it could be just as simple as, we just burnt dinner and this really stinks and this is horrible, but okay, we're okay now. We're going to order a pizza and move on, or
Right.
it could be something bigger, but it's important to do. And as adults, we feel like a lot of times we need to be serious. Okay, this is horrible. We're going to just be stoic and move on. And kids are the best example of how to laugh it off and move on. And we don't follow that example, and we kind of teach them not to. We're like, don't
Right.
laugh about it. We need to be serious, when we really need to take that example and say, okay, this is funny. We need to laugh about it and keep moving. This is a good thing,
Right. Yeah. One place that laughter comes into play is probably our second tip for bringing fun, to having a fun and fulfilling marriage, bringing fun into your marriage, would be spontaneity.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tendency, especially as the marriage goes on, to fall into routines. And, some people really like routines and do well in routines. But I would probably argue, yes, you may function well in routines, but you don't grow well in a routine.
Right.
And spontaneity is one of those things. While it's nerve-wracking for some, I love spontaneity. Like, I want things to be different every day. And to me, it really doesn't even matter if it's good different or bad different. I function best in that type of situation. You were in the past always more of a, got to have a plan, got to have a, things have to be in a certain way, routine. And we've kind of found a medium in that. But in those times of spontaneity, I think we grow as individuals, but our relationship also grows in those moments of spontaneity. When it's good spontaneity, when it's something that, happens unexpectedly or something like that, that's a good thing. Then, you learn how each one of you responds to something like that, and and what it does in your life, and you grow with the ability to adapt to those situations. And just something that comes to mind, just an example that would come to mind would, going out for a day and suddenly the weather changes. We're in Oklahoma, so that's pretty much every time you go out to do something, the weather can change instantly. And, maybe you're out having a fun evening in the park and all of a sudden it just starts raining for no apparent reason. You can either get really upset that ruined your picnic, or you can embrace the spontaneity and say, we really haven't had a chance to dance in the rain in a long time. And so you grow in such a way that you just embrace whatever the moment is going on. And that's really kind of what being spontaneous is. It's just embracing where you are in that moment. Whatever happens, we'll just embrace it and we'll just go with it. And so the ability to do that in the good times, it builds you up to be able to handle the spontaneity in the bad times, because sometimes unexpected things happen and they're not good things. But in those times, you learn from the good times how you are still able to adapt. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You're still able to adapt to it, and you just adapt to that spontaneity. So I think it's important that this sounds like an oxymoron, but you purposefully work in spontaneity into your relationship, that you don't always have everything so planned out. We've mentioned it before. We had an idea several years ago on an anniversary. I think it might have been our 15th anniversary or something like that. It was a long time ago. But we had this idea that we were just going to go, or actually, I think I had the idea that we were just going to go.
Let's clarify. That was before I was fun and spontaneous.
We were just going to spend our anniversary. We decided we were going to do a Route 66 drive, and we were going to head east from here is what it would be. It's really northeast, but we just would head out, and that we were going to drive, and we were going to stop at what we wanted to stop at, and we were going to end up staying where we stayed. And that was the extent of what was known.
Still makes me slightly nervous when you say it. It's fine.
It ended up being really one of the most fun times that we've ever had, because I wasn't feeling pressured to stay by some sort of agenda. And I think it really freed you up from feeling like, we had to get somewhere, we had to do something, or this wasn't the way it was planned. And we just were able to enjoy, one, our time together, and two, everything that we saw along the way. And when we ended up having, that much fun doing that, we've done that several other times in trips that we've taken. We went to Tennessee, went to Memphis and Nashville with really no schedule or plan or agenda, just go see what we can see and stay where we end up staying. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes that didn't work out so well, but we were able to even embrace that and joke about it and have fun and laugh. And, it brought all of those things in that wouldn't have been there had it been a very planned and scheduled vacation. And so you may not be ready to go into that type of spontaneity, but even just building it into your day, building it into your moments.
Right. And so we learn to be creative and use that side of our brain, which is fun and exciting. Typically that's a different side of our brain that we don't usually use unless we are more creative and less analytical. We are learning to do that together. So it's creative, it's fun. And we are creating then memories and being playful. It's laughter. It's creating that connection, because we're saying, what do you want to do? What does this look like? Oh, this is fun. You're probably creating those inside jokes, that humor together, and those memories. And so it's definitely going to be fun. And like you said, when you're learning to do that kind of on the fly, and then if something else throws a curveball at you in a different setting, then you're learning to work together as a team. And again, be creative, even if it is in a less fun setting. But that creates a connection and a bond in a way that you don't get otherwise if you're just living day-to-day life in a way that you don't get when you're not spontaneous. I will say, I love that you're spontaneous. It definitely stretches me in a way that I would have not ever been stretched if I had married someone else who was also very analytical and organized and by the book structure that you are not. It also has stressed me out over the years, but it really ultimately has been a positive that, that we're totally polar opposites kind of thing has been a good thing. Definitely comes from your creative side, but then also makes us be more creative as a couple. And how can we be spontaneous and complement each other even then as well.
Right. And it doesn't have to start as large as, hey, we're just going to take an unexpected vacation and have no plans. It can
like
be,
you said, we were 15 years in and we had been spontaneous with other things like, hey, we're going to get in the car and just drive and go on a date night to a movie. Like we knew we were going to a movie. We didn't know what movie we were going to see, or we were going to go eat. We didn't know where we were going to go.
Right. So we might go a few places. We might do a progressive dinner or something like that.
You gradually led me into a
Right.
week-long vacation
Right.
with driving east, you
But
know?
yeah, and it's still something that we work into our everyday lives. The other day, you just sent me a text message out of the blue about how much you love me, and which was awesome. And then I think it was this Sunday,
Yeah.
I just left you a note on the counter. Nothing had led up to that. I mean, like it wasn't an apology note, or we weren't in a fight or anything like that. It was just, I just left you a note saying you're beautiful and I love you. And it was a 1-page note, but I wrote really big. So I mean, it was probably 10 or 15 words, but it was just a spontaneous way to remind you that I loved you. And I did it on paper on purpose because I wanted it to be something that you could keep, that it would be there, that it was something that would remind you and you didn't have to scroll to find. There was thought that went into it, but literally I was fixing to leave and I thought, I'm just going to leave her a note and do that. And so it doesn't have to be vacation spontaneity. It
Right.
can be, I'm just going to do something she doesn't expect today that's going to surprise her. I'm going to bring home flowers spontaneously. I don't do that. But when you do get flowers, it is spontaneous.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
rarely do them for Valentine's Day or anything like that.
It's never for a holiday. It's always a spontaneous.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because you're supposed to get flowers on Valentine's Day, so that doesn't seem special to me. Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you how good of a mother you are on Mother's Day. I'm supposed to, on our anniversary, tell you how much I love you. It's the times around those things when we do them that are spontaneous in my mind that really mean more than the things that you do that are expected of you. And so to do things like that, probably the biggest thing with spontaneity for me is it just gets you out of the feeling of it's just another day in our marriage. And I think that's what brings a lot of marriages to the edge of the cliff where they start crashing, is just it becomes an everyday thing. It's just normal. And eventually somebody's going to get tired of just normal.
And I think that's the key to all of the things we're talking about today. So laughter, spontaneity, and playing and playfulness, which is the last thing we're going to talk about, are huge factors that are necessary to really creating those long-term, fun, fulfilling marriages that are often overlooked and people don't have.
Right. Because without them, you just end up in a marriage that exists. And there are lots of marriages that just exist. There are way fewer marriages that are fun and fulfilling. And if you're going to have, or if you want to have, if you desire to have a fun and fulfilling marriage, it is going to take effort on your part.
Right.
You are going to have to learn to laugh.
Right.
You're going to have to learn to be spontaneous, to bring in spontaneity into your relationship.
Absolutely. And then you're going to have to learn how to be playful and play. And again, that's another one of those things that we as adults.
What do you mean by play?
It's all of that. As adults, we forget what that is. We grow up and we decide we're going to be, these adults and we're going to be responsible. And we think that all the playfulness and play is out of our life. And occasionally we get down on the floor and we'll play with our kids or whatever, but we still do it, like, okay, growl, like the dinosaur growl. Okay. And then we get up and we just move on. And we don't think we are supposed to play or be playful as adults. And we absolutely need to be. It's part of us being healthy mentally and emotionally and socially. And it's great for our marriage. It's, again, great for our connection. It's great to reduce stress. It reduces our blood pressure. It reduces our fight, flight, or freeze, all of these things. And we need to do that for ourselves, but we need to do that for our relationship. And if we're not doing that, we're missing a huge part of what builds a connection in our relationship. And so part of being playful is going to be flirting and teasing and joking. Again, know your moments, of course,
Right.
but definitely be part of that. And some of it is going to be playing games and doing those kind of things, whether it's being playful and just joking around. I mean, and really you've brought that to, again, the laughter, the joking, those kind of things. Having fun is a huge part of it. And so it is being playful, being mindful of being fun and having fun, but doing that on a regular basis. There are times that I'll be like, man, we've just been so serious. We haven't been playful. We haven't just played. We haven't pushed each other in the pool or, when it's, and 80 in February was
I've never found an appropriate time to push you into a pool, though.
No, but I can push you into the pool and it's totally okay. And you would laugh and it would be funny.
Yeah.
Or spraying each other with the hose, which not appropriate in February ever. But, different things like that. Just think about being a kid. What was somewhat funny and fun and playful as a kid? Kids have fun all the time. And sometimes they find the silliest things to laugh about, but we don't even find anything to be silly or funny.
Part of that is when marriage really hits us, when we get into a routine and
life
and you've got kids and we've got jobs and we've got bills to pay and all of these things. And it seems like there's just so much to do. And we have one daughter. And so when we were raising her, we were moving around a lot with just one. I mean, she was very active. She, volleyball and soccer and rodeo and all of these things that it seemed like we were running nonstop with one. And so you have couples who have more kids than that.
Right.
And if they're both active like that, which many times they are, now you're running separate directions, you're going all over the place. And it just seems like there is no time to play. It's all work, 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 work.
Oh, absolutely.
And what happens is you get yourself in that mode, and then the kids get a little older, and eventually they're driving themselves to practice, they're driving themselves to school, they're doing all of these things. And so you actually do have, it seems like, maybe a little bit more time together, and you just find other work to fill that spot, and you don't intentionally carve out time to be playful. When that happens, then you get into that mundane, everyday, this is what marriage is like, and you start to just let your relationship exist instead of letting your relationship thrive. Now, I would say what you need to do if you are in that stage of life where you're running everywhere all the time and doing all of that, go back and listen to our other episodes where we talk about your relationship really does have to be first. You have to put your relationship first no matter what. You need to, this may sound a lot less spontaneous, but maybe you do need to carve out time to at least schedule this night. Grandma and grandpa are going to take the kids to their practices. We're going to spend time together. Or they're going to ride with their friends to practice. We're going to stay home and we're going to cook out on the grill. We'll save some for the kids when they get home. Those type of things to where you are intentionally setting time aside so that you can do all of these things is going to put you ahead of the game when finally the kids don't need you as much. Now, if you are in a situation where you have your kids and you're running all over the place, take advantage of the times after you drop them off. Instead of one of you going to drop them off, maybe you both go and drop them off. And now, instead of staying and watching practice, you run to Brahms and get ice cream together without the kids and tell them about it and make it a joke and, be like, ha, 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 we went and got ice cream. I mean, make it playful, make it fun, and use those times to bond and to partner up.
Well, and we've talked before about finding moments in time. And one of the things I can remember is when our child was younger, we went for a time without watching TV. And so we found things to do during the evening if we didn't have anything to go and be at, to do things with her. And so one of the things, we had one of those giant inflatable like dollar balls from Walmart, and we would go outside and we were kicking it all. I mean, it was, I'm going to say kickball, but we were kicking it all over the yard and over the house and all these things, and pushing each other out of the way playfully to play this game of kickball that we were doing. And we all laughed and had the best time. And so even though we were all playing that, we were all laughing, and you and I still had opportunities to be playful with each other while we were also being playful with our daughter. Obviously, those are two different means of being playful. But even in those moments with each other and then a family as a whole, you can still be playful.
Right.
And it's okay for your kids to see you being playful
They
that way
need
too.
to.
And they absolutely, that's what I was
they
just going to
need
say. And they
to,
absolutely need to see you being playful as a couple.
Right.
And so you can steal those moments within that as a family as well. And so, yes, have your own time, you two make time for that, but make time to be playful within the family as a whole together with your kids too.
Yeah, I agree. You should be playful as a family. You should be playful just in times when that you still off together, but then also going a little bit more into the relationship time, your intimate times should be, you should have times that are playful in that as well.
Absolutely.
To make it fun. I would say it's always fun, but when you're speaking specifically like with sex and intimacy, make those times fun. Don't make them where they are just, hey, we've got a few minutes without the kids around. Let's get that done. Don't make it a chore.
Well, and I think that goes back to saying and showing how important it is to have fun in your everyday life. And we need that. And so we need that in our everyday connection with our spouses.
Right.
And so we need fun to have a fun and fulfilling marriage.
Right. So we need to be sure that we are having fun by being playful, that we are spontaneous,
and we have laughter,
and that we laugh. That's right.
So he's John.
And she's Shalon. And this is Sitting in a Tree podcast. See you guys.
Bye.